I have in front of me here a micro irrigation or watering system that's available on thegardenshop.ie. Now the idea of this particular system is that if we had a series of pots and baskets and maybe isolated beds, what we might want to do is set up a mini irrigation system where we connect it to a single tap, and the idea would be that once we set up the system to actually water it, all we have to do is we just turn on the tap, and what happens next then is that the water is distributed to each of the different locations we want. So it's both very time efficient and also hopefully will give a very, very even spread of water, okay? So I'm just going to give an overview of what's involved in the kit and then a demonstration quickly of how it might be put together. So the key first part about it is this micro hose pipe that we have here. It's a total of 23 meters long, and it's a continuous non-porous pipe. Okay, so what we have next then here is we have, if we wanted to cut this pipe using something like this snips here, what we would do is we could put a T junction into the pipe and tee off here, where we would connect on a small length of pipe which we would run directly to a plant or something like this. We also have, we'll say, a joiner here, so if we cut a pipe and we want to rejoin it again afterwards, we have a number of these straight through joiners. We also then have plant stakes here, which is simply to hold the pipe in position into the earth. We have a number of tacks here which you could use for tacking in the cable. If we just actually look at this tack here, it fits perfectly over this, so it won't pinch the pipe and it'll hold it securely. So if we wanted to nail it into a piece of timber or something next to a pot, it would be ideal. Finally then, what we have is we have the following things. We have these units here, which are, we have inline drippers, and we also have end of line drippers. And the idea with these is that when we come along, we'll say with the inline drippers, what we do is we simply push the pipe in on one side, like so. So it simply pushes on, you can see that. And we get a pipe on the far side here, and repeat the process. So the water will flow through continuously, but there's a small hole at this point here. So just say we came along and we had this pipe secured into a pot, and I'm going to give you an indication here now of how to put this on. This is a little stand here we'd have to secure the pot on. I've had an inline dripper. What we do is we come along, we simply push it down, and the water would simply continuously drip out at this point here into the pot. Okay. Now an alternative version of this is when we go for something like an end of line dripper. So what we do here is we simply come along and we push it in like this, and now what we'll do is we'll once again stake it, maybe duck back a little bit. So we stake it in like this, and we just have the base in there, and it'll drip the water out next to the base of the plant. So we'll use this generally with a T-type construction, and we'd use this for an inline dripper, which is just part of the pipe itself. Okay, so how would we set up the overall system? Well, the first thing we do is we would come along here and we would, this connection here just screws onto your standard garden tap, okay? So it's threaded here, so we just come along and we'll screw it onto the tap. But before we do that, we'll come along and we need to do the following. We need to put this unit in here, which simply restricts the flow of water down to a volume that's suitable for this micro watering hose. And then we have a filter here, which will stop any dirt getting into the pipe. And then we just screw this onto our tap, okay? So we'd lock it into position. Now you can come along and use something like plumber's tape here and to prevent any leakage at this particular point and give a better join. So the next thing then is we'll actually come along and we'll actually just join this cable off of this tap connection. So all we do here is that you can see this is hollow here, and it's quite a tight fit. So we just get this pipe here and we just screw it in. And we just push it in over the length of the thing. So there's an overlap here of about an inch or so. So it's enough actually to give a good tight connection on it, so it won't come out easily and it won't leak water from this point either. So we'd roll the pipe out, and when we get to the point where we want to put in our first tee, we'll do exactly as I said before. We would come along and get this cutters here and simply cut the cable, and then what we would do is we would simply put this connection in here like this and tee it off like this, and then we would put the dripper unit, as I showed earlier, onto the end of this, and we'd feed our first pot, okay? So we just continue that through the entire length of the thing. So the 23 meters length is quite generous, and if you had a relatively small area with a number of baskets, it's ideal. And the great thing about it here is you're not watering areas in between, which you might be doing if you're using something like a sprinkler system. Now, you might make a decision that you had a dripper at a certain point and you want to remove it from the circuit, or you might actually have a termination at the end of the 23 meters, or maybe after 15 meters, where you don't want to have water just dripping out of the end of it. And inside here we have these units here for actually bending back the pipe and to stop the circulation of water. So if we just use one of these end units here, we'll just get this pipe here and I'll bend it back like this. What we do then is we simply push it in here like this, and you can see here this actually causes a total 180-degree bend over, and it'll stop water leaking out from that point. So as you can see, it's a very, very simple kit. It's very, very flexible, and if it's installed correctly, it'll actually work very well. And I have to say, I was actually quite pleasantly surprised by tests on this product. Found that actually quite good.